Good.
Thank
He
you.
said,
Thank you so much.
because at first I figured he'd make it this week, then he said something with his calendar money and all that, and he said, no, he ain't coming. I was like, well, maybe you need to rest.
You want just a little. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, a month ago when he sent your schedule, I was like, this isn't stuffing your toes. I mean, this is like
Well,
you
he
said.
was back so quickly that you just thought, oh, well.
Pulse.
Okay, it's 3 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order.
Bang your gavel.
Okay. All right, first of all, I'd like to welcome the members back. Thank y'all. Hope y'all had a good summer, ready to work. I appreciate every one of y'all. Welcome you in the audience there. We appreciate you. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Sells?
Here.
Representative Bedsole?
Here.
Dr. Boyd? Representative Butler? Representative Chestnut? Representative Keel? Representative Kirkland? Representative Lands? Representative Lawrence? Representative Paramore? Representative Shaw? Representative Stothagen? Representative Wood? Representative Yarborough? We have a quorum.
Okay, quorum's established. We can conduct business at this time. First up is HB 93, Representative Brown. Chairman Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this bill deals with the Alabama Port Authority, and right now, the way that they're covered under, they have to track everything, every item that's at least $500 at the time of purchase. So you can imagine they bought a piece of equipment in 1940, they're still having to track it every single year. So the size of the port, it just creates problems. It's extra expense on manpower. And what this will do is it'll allow them to adopt their own procedures and put them in line with the universities.
Okay, any questions?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Randy Wood, second. Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, members.
Okay, next up on our agenda is HB 160. Chairman Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I guess you have had the opportunity to read over this, and I had the privilege of serving on this board many years ago when I was in City Commission. And just to give you a little history of what AMEA, I think several of you may have this in your community. But several cities got together back, I think it was back in the 70s, and they started the Alabama Municipal Electric Authority. They have the ability, have grown to the ability of buying a tremendous amount of electricity. And in these cities, you'd be surprised the price that they're able to get it for and sell it for much cheaper. And I could tell you a percentage, but I won't go there with this bill. It's a great opportunity if there's ever an opening for it. You have board members that represent one person from each community. That person can be a member of the commission. I happen to be one of the members from Dothan, the member from Dothan at that time that was on the commission. They can be an individual that works in the electrical department that understands the electricity, or it can even be an individual in the community. Whomever they decide, that city decides to put up for a person. There are 11 cities as a representative. There are 11 cities. And I want to give you the name of those cities: Alex City, Dothan, Fairhope, Riviera at Foley, that electrical outlet, Lafayette, Lynette, Laverne, Opelika, Piedmont, Sylacauga, and Tuskegee. Those are the 11 cities. So what this does, it gives this board the opportunity to pay those members, and it would be $1,750 only one time per month. Now, most times they meet every other month, and sometimes they meet 3 times a month occasionally, but their normal is every other month. That's normal. But on occasions, they could meet 1, 2, or 3. The maximum they would get would be $1,750. I do have an amendment. I believe somebody's, yeah. So
Okay,
that's it.
let's get a motion first. Anybody have any questions?
Butler did it.
Okay, we need to get Get a motion. Well, we need to get I'm sorry, it's been a while. Okay, so we'll take the amendment. Representative Butler.
The place line 342 on page 13 is the following. Board of Directors shall be paid the director's fee. The place line 344 on page 13 is the following. $17.50 per month for which the member actually attends a meeting. The place line 349 and 350 on page 13 is the following. At the discretion of the board, he or she may be paid the director's fee not to exceed $2,000 per month in which the chair actually attends a meeting.
Okay, any questions about the amendment? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, you got that? Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor of the amendment? Any opposed? Okay, the amendment passes. Representative Lee, Chairman Lee, back to you.
That is the bill.
Okay.
What I actually told you to begin with
Okay.
included the amendment, so that covers it all.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, sir. Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman,
Mr.
bill
Chairman.
passes. Thank
Committee
you.
members, thank y'all.
Passed
And
as
11
amended.
cities, thank you as well. Thank you.
Okay, now we're back to HB 93. Oh, sorry, HB 29. Representative Wood's going to carry that for Representative Alder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members, and please don't any of you call me Ed. But I am here for him because he is at home recovering from surgery and doing very well. And he called me and said that this bill is very important to him because he's had a lot of communication from his constituents wanting to see the bill move forward. And he asked the chairman if we could go ahead today and talk about it. It's really a workforce development bill, but it's an unemployment bill. That's what it is. Currently, there's 127,000 open positions in the state of Alabama. But we have people that are drawing unemployment with 127,000 open positions. In 2023, we estimate that we spent $1.5 million in unemployment compensation that we should not have spent. That's why this bill is so important. What does the bill do? It strengthens what we're asking the individual to do. So currently, under our existing law, a person only has to report 3 times or look for a job 3 times in the state of Alabama. We're asking them to at least go and search for 5 different places to get employment. Now, I had some people say, well, what about a small county? Well, I would think in a small county, if you go look 3 places, you can find a job. I know in my county you can because there's help wanted signs everywhere. So this bill would ask the individual to at least go to 5 places. This bill would also say that an individual does not have to take a position that they feel uncomfortable with. If it's farther than their other job was, if the job pays less money, if the hours are different, we're not being unreasonable with this bill, but this bill just states that they need to be out there actively looking for a job because we need to get people back to work. And that's what this bill is about. We know that people's chances of finding a job is when we put pressure on them to go look. And that's what this bill is saying that they need to do. This bill also clarifies what we call ghosting. Ghosting in the state of Alabama is when you go and apply for a job and make you an offer and you never call them back. That actually happens in the state. But once again, we're not asking anyone to take a job that's less money than they can afford to take. We're not asking someone to drive farther than they've already driven. We're not asking someone to change their hours. That's not what this bill is about. This bill is about accountability, making sure that we're telling those people out there that they have those open positions, that we're going to send people to you. So that's the premise behind this bill, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a public hearing that's been called
Yes.
this time. Clerk will call the first speaker, please.
Dev Wakely.
Please call that. Okay, go ahead and put it on. Okay, sir, you have 3 minutes, and we're going to put the timer up so you can adjust your time accordingly, okay?
Don't even think I'll take all 3 minutes.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Members. Thank you very much. I'm Dev Wakely, Worker Policy Advocate with Alabama RIs. HB 29 is an attempt to implement a work search standard that was explicitly rejected by the legislature just 3 years ago. That bill was introduced when the work search requirement was increased. It was introduced with a 5 work search standard and amended down for the exact reasons that I'm about to talk about. this is a bill in search of a problem that really doesn't exist. And because of that, it would create problems for unemployed workers throughout the state. And when I say throughout the state, I mean everywhere from Lawrence County to Cleburne County, all the way down to the Florida border and Washington County. An increased work search requirement would be a real burden in more than 20 rural Alabama counties with lower populations. The legislature has recognized in the past the need to expand transportation and broadband services, but we as a state are not there yet. And that includes one of 40 counties that have no broadband wiring at all as of 2022 in Perry County, one of the counties that would be impacted here. Public transportation is, of course, an issue there as well, including the need to drive, in many cases, more than 20 miles just to work at a Walmart. If you get laid off, if Walmart has an RIF, you're off and out of luck. And the combination of work search requirements with the prohibition on reapplying to the same employer is a real squeeze for folks. Many places really do only have 6 or 7 viable employers at any level within a half-hour's drive, particularly in Wilcox County, counties like this that are much more rural with geographic concerns as well. I've got a chart if y'all are interested in seeing it. I'll hold it up. These are the impacted counties with fewer than 25,000 people in them. There are more than 20. There are other counties that are trending that way as well, where populations are being hollowed out and folks are having less and less economic opportunity. We really shouldn't be squeezing people who are already living in places that are harder to get by in. If we're talking about counties like Conecuh, counties where rural hospitals are closing, you're going to see issues where folks are laid off from those hospitals and are having a hard time finding work. We really shouldn't be making it harder on these people. This is really a good illustration of where folks would feel the most burden from this bill. And many of these counties, in addition to being rural, are already among the state's poorest counties. They face significant burdens that are already heightened compared to the rest of the state. I understand that this is not going to be as much a burden in places like Huntsville and places like Birmingham, though it's still a heightened burden that's unnecessary. But it can be a real barrier in rural counties where people are just trying to get their feet underneath them. We think it's an unnecessary and harmful bill for people in every area of the state, and we'd ask you to vote against it. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, sir, thank you for your comments. Okay, does anyone have a question for the bill sponsor? Do we have a motion?
Well, I
Okay.
don't have a
Okay.
questions, more of comments, I guess. I kind of understand what we're trying to do here, but my thoughts and sentiments behind this legislation is this. Those individuals that really want to work, they're desperately out there trying to find work. I really believe. Those individuals that I think this bill is really targeting, they're not going to work whether you make them do it 3 times, 5 times, or 10 times. Case in point, the average unemployment payout is what? From $45 to $175 per week. Somebody that really wants to work, they're already looking for a job because they know they can't sustain and they can't make it off of $175, $200 a week. So I don't feel that changing the threshold from 3 to 5 will actually make a big difference, because I think what we're going to do is, say, for an example, in the town of Haynesville, it's 5 legitimate businesses. It's Family Dollar, it's Dollar Tree, it's QV gas station, and it's Subway. I own the Subway, and I guarantee you I get probably 20 people a day coming in asking for a job. So, respectfully, I understand what you're trying to do, but I think those that are really trying to do it the right way is going to get caught up in this cycle and conundrum of, hey, now I'm forced with, if I'm only getting $45 a week unemployment, and I live in Braggs, Alabama, which is 25 miles from Haynesville, and I don't have a vehicle, I don't have broadband, and I got to pay somebody $20 to take me to Haynesville 3 or 4 days a week to try to find a job. It's going to be an unsettling burden, I feel like you're putting on individuals that really try to make it work. So those are just my comments, and I'm going to be voting against it. Thanks.
I have a comment.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
Yes, Ms.
Representative
Lane.
Lawrence.
I feel like this bill really penalizes the least of the least. I spoke earlier today and I said, you know, my go-to, the thing I tell myself over and over in my mind is to think with love. And that's how I try to conduct myself in the world. And I often think about, you know, what Jesus would do. And I feel like this bill is not in the spirit of Jesus. And I just have to say that. I just feel like that this is a bad bill and it's cruel.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay, any more questions or comments? Representative Prince.
Yes, I have a question. What constitutes? I saw in there the word suitable employment. What's the definition of suitable employment?
Well, I think that the bill spells out that if you're changing jobs and the change in your job has less hours, less pay, or you have to drive farther to get that job, that may not be suitable. So if you find a job that's similar to what your skills are, and you find a job that the pay is similar to what you were getting, and you're not having, it's not a burden on your family, because if you have children, you're changing your hours. That's what this bill addresses. And I think it does a really good job. I think that Ed did a good job with it and the drafters in making sure that you didn't feel like you had to just take something. But unemployment, and I would also like to, if I could, to say something to Representative Lands, and I appreciate your heart. I think you have a wonderful heart, I can tell that. But I also know in the state of Alabama, we're responsible for people's money. So that's a big burden too. And our burden is to ensure that we're spending our money and being fiscally responsible with our money. And when we're spending $1.5 million that we shouldn't spend on claims, then we need to be looking at something in the state. And we also need to be helping these individuals that desperately need employees. So I appreciate all the comments that have been made so far, and like I said, I think your heart's wonderful. But I do want to say we also have a burden, and that burden is to spend money correctly.
Okay, I just wanted to follow up on this suitable.
Yes, sir.
Can you show me, I guess, where the definition is within the text?
And I'm going to be honest with you, I probably can't, but if you can give me a few minutes, I'll certainly find it.
Okay.
Okay? So if you can just hang on, I will try to find that in this bill. Ed called me yesterday, and I have read through it, but I did not have time to just line by line do my due diligence, Mr. Chairman. Hang on, I'm going to get something else.
Yeah, when I listened to Representative Lawrence, that made me think about that word suitable, and
Gotcha.
and I understand, because I'm in those rural counties, and
I am too.
So.
Remember, people think I'm Lee County, so I live in Chambers County, and I'm a rural county as well, so I understand that. But we do have a little more chicken and hamburgers going on in my county besides Subway, so we have a little more opportunity. But I know that there's something here in the notes.
Just a correction, the QV does have chicken and hamburger.
Okay, excuse me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I just got my phone back. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your patience, Representative.
All right. What page is that?
229, line 229. So it's going to be on page, I guess, 8 or 9. Let's see. No, 9. Mm-hmm. Subdivision 5. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. See, I'm getting help from the gallery. This is amazing. Thank you. So Suitable work is employment that is comparable to a job seeker's prior work, which is what I mentioned to you. Terms of wages, which is what I mentioned to you, and hours and other conditions consistent with the prevailing standards for similar work, which is the things that I pointed out: similar hours, similar distance, similar wages. All of those means suitable. And thank you very much.
Okay, any further questions or comments?
Representative, I was just going to direct you, page 19, actually list out all the things that shall be considered for it to be considered suitable work.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, ayes have it. Bill passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, committee, so much.
Okay. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, members.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I got a question. I know we adjourned. I want to talk to everybody about it. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going. He's trying to scare me. Hello, beautifuls. Now, this you are. Yes. Well, they are beautiful. What are their ages? This is about 2 and 9 in April. Well, you girls are so beautiful. I have 3 granddaughters. I have one that's 6, one that's 4. Oh, okay, yes, sir. Yes, thank you. So I have girls too, but they're not quite as old as you are yet. But yes, if you they love me, you know. So yeah, they're good to me. I'll show you. This is my little girl. So she's 6. That's the baby. She's 3 and she's 5. Yeah. Thank you. They're my heart. So I have a Catherine, a Hope, a Carson.